Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining. Hope everybody's great today. Make sure you have a bit of water if you are going to do this even now or on the replay. Ali, is there a way of turning off the ding dongs? Okay, have a look at that. Sorry. This is quite distracting. People coming in. So, first of all, I want to say I am not a radical responsibility expert. I create what I need, and I need to take radical responsibility. So I thought it'd be a great time of the year and with a great group and great people to tune in and explore this for myself and for you guys to see if we can step into step up into taking a bit more responsibility in our lives and areas of our lives. I mean, for some areas I'm great at, and other areas I'm abysmal. And I'm sure that's going to resonate as well with lots of people. So before I crack into this session, I'm Sarah Tobin. I am creator of Tapping for Mums. I've been tapping for nearly 9 years. I've trained in 2018 and I'm now a trainer. So I train people to be EFT practitioners as well in England and Ireland. And I work on Zoom globally and have a podcast, Tapping Into a podcast, where I interview lots of different people about their modalities and how we can support ourselves with various different tools. So I'm also part of the Healy community. You can't see it here, but I have my Healy on. I'm running Coherence to help bring some of that amazing channeling energy in, which I find helps so much when I create tapping scripts. I haven't pre-prescribed this tapping script today. I've written notes and thoughts and ideas, but I kind of like to get input as to how you feel so that it's a co-creation on the day when I do these live events. So they're kind of my favorite things to do. And we'll bring it all together and we will tap after we have a little bit of a deep dive into what is radical responsibility. So what is it? It is the voluntary choice to assume or embrace 100% ownership for our circumstances, not as some kind of should or burden, but a conscious act of self-empowerment and the genuine exercise of personal freedom. This involves us stopping blaming of ourselves and blaming others. So when you approach mistakes, adversity, those bad days at work with radical responsibility, you don't just accept what happened. You take ownership, especially of your reactions. You accept your part in it and actively choose to make yourself a part of the solution. This is about removing victimhood. Who can kind of connect with parts of their lives where they are not brilliant at this? So give us a little go in the chat. Mary wants to work on letting go of limiting beliefs that are holding me back. Yes, absolutely. Time to reprogram the brain. Just make sure everyone's on mute there. I'll just do that. So who can connect and relate with perhaps not taking responsibility? I think it's very, very common that and perhaps it's a conditioned. We've learned to be the victim instead of learning to take responsibility. And people's definitely relating to that, yeah. And it's not our fault, right? So number one, couching, laying of the land here, there's no blame. There is no additional shame coming from me to you, from you to someone else about this, okay? This is life. This is humanity. We have been conditioned in particular ways. Like Mary mentioned, limiting beliefs. We have created beliefs and a belief system and a mindset that keeps us safe. And sometimes being the victim has kept us safe, and that's been needed. Okay, so if we just put a line in the sand around our past and let go of blame, in any way, shape, or form. This is about radical acceptance, acceptance of who we are, acceptance of things we have experienced, acceptance of things that have been done to us. Because the quicker we can accept, the quicker we can take responsibility, the quicker we can forgive, then the bigger our healing release. We can rewrite those beliefs, those old programs, those old narratives, and we can get back to being who we came here to be. We can get back to doing exactly what we want to be doing. So this is about control. I know lots of you here also like being in control. So if we like being controlled so much, then this is a really good opportunity to step into taking control, taking responsibility of how we respond to situations. Okay. And looking at ourselves without the lens of the victim and without the lens of blame. Lulu, yes, for me, in regards to taking space and time for myself, like someone else is going to give it to me. I can have months where I do it and then lose the feeling, and that's my responsibility. Yes, no one else can do this for you. You know, we often look to other people to give us what we actually need to give to ourselves. So, in self employment, a good example, no one's giving me a pay rise, right? I have to decide when my prices go up because no one else is going to be going to me, Sarah, I think your prices are a bit low. I think you should charge more. That's not going to happen. That's taking responsibility for me and valuing myself. Okay, so applying that to life. So understanding this a bit more. It's accepting complete ownership of our thoughts, actions, and emotions, again, without blame, because trauma created our mindsets and our thoughts and our actions, but we can decide what to do with it now. Acknowledging we have the power to create change in our lives. So Oprah Winfrey said, "You are responsible for your life. And if you are sitting around waiting on someone to save you, to fix you, even to help you, you are wasting your time because only you have the power to take responsibility, to move your life forward. And the sooner you get that, the sooner your life gets into gear." I love Oprah. She's so direct and compassionate at the same time. This is a trans blame model, stepping out of the blame and shame paradigm. I hope you get that now. This is not about blame or shame. They are one of the lowest, heaviest, densest energy forms you can carry. This is about shifting out of that energy mindset and into a higher frequency, a higher vibration instead. Okay, the benefits of taking radical responsibility. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. So please, none of this is like gold standard, by the way. This is just my thoughts on radical responsibility. Empowerment and control, improved relationships with others. You probably would have more boundaries if you take more responsibility for yourself. You probably use your voice more and be a bit more authentic. Increase self-awareness and personal growth. You're not going to carry stuff that isn't serving you when you step into this place, are you? Less judgment of self, less judgment of others. And I hope you all know that as you judge others, it's a mirror reflection of how you are judging yourselves. So judging someone on it that you see on Instagram as you're scrolling along, or judging another mum at the school gate, catch yourself and go, what is it about them that I am judging, because I'm judging me as I judge them? Okay, so just a little side note. As you judge others, you are actually judging yourself. So a little bit less judgment would be nice, wouldn't it? And living a more soul-led life over ego. So the ego through trauma kind of dominates the show, and I'm sure many of you here can relate to that. Who's got a very loud critical voice? Please let us know. The more I have found, the more and more work I've done in my healing journey, the quieter my inner voice is. Honestly, there's some days that I don't have any critical voice that hounds me. And that's amazing. And then when I'm in times of stress or when I'm not doing my tools or my practices, I notice that it comes back a little bit. So wouldn't it be nice to live a little bit more of a soul led, so that the soul is in charge rather than the ego? Um, so it means that you cannot influence outside events. So this is not about control in a controlling kind of, grasping expectation perspective. This is control in how we respond to what's happening on the outside world. If you don't like something in your life, you will not waste time cursing your fate or circumstances. The this phrase always comes into my mind. It was a Honda ad years ago. Hate something, change something. Does anybody remember that? It was like a little an engine. It was like an animated commercial, TV commercial with a engine animated with wings. Anybody else remember that? Hate something, change something. So you will do anything that you can to change it. Yes, you will also avoid any excuses and do what needs to be done. So living from this place of radical responsibility, we will do what we can to ensure going forward that we won't have a recurring experience. And that means doing some of the harder work, like going back and healing certain events and letting go of beliefs and all that kind of thing. You will avoid excuses and you will do what needs to be done. So how many of us procrastinate and create excuses? I've basically been waiting for someone to come in and help fix my diet for months and months and months. But like, that's not going to happen. I've now realized this is why I'm doing this. Take radical responsibility. Okay, so how do we do it? Now, again, this nothing here is set in stone. They're just some ideas. Focus on what's in your control and accept what's not. So, so many things we actually have no influence over whatsoever, no conscious influence anyway. So it's a really good idea to just learn to accept a little bit more, to let go, to kind of surrender, just this kind of relaxing about certain things that we just can't control. We can't control how my kid is going to react or how their experience of a school day is going to be, for example. What I can control is how I support them when they come home. So they're just really minor examples. Be radically honest with yourself and your values. Don't go along with others because it's easier. Just make sure that you're doing things because your soul wants you to do it. It lights you up rather than your ego telling you, oh, you need to fit in. So you're going to go on that crazy boozy girls trip to Marbella because you need to fit in with this crowd if it doesn't align with your values. Get clear on your goals. I think being, is going into motivation a bit, but sometimes I've learned, especially through the Healy journey, actually, to focus more on the why, my why. That's something I've really tapped into since joining Healy. It's all about your why. Why are you showing up every day? Why are you doing what you're doing? So that's really helpful. Recognize and challenge limiting belief and negative thought patterns. I know that sounds easier than it actually is, but the more you challenge and say no to a certain belief or a way of thinking, the more the ego is going to release it. And there's loads of other ways of releasing negative thoughts and stuff like that. And that I use tapping a lot for that. Practice mindfulness and self-reflection, so journaling. Take action towards creating positive change. So controlling where you can control what is going to help you feel good in your life and do more of that. Bring safety into the body. That's what we're going to do today. Program your mind and body to feel safe in times of change and transition. It's okay and safe not to always be in control. Sometimes we need to program our subconscious to handle change and handle transition. Practice your ability to respond to emotion, sensations, and thoughts in a way that's useful. Don't get sucked into a thought or feeling just because it arises. So I heard, I think it was Cheryl Richardson talk about the anxiety train. So imagine you're at a train station and a train pulls up, and on that thought is, I'm hopeless or I'm useless. Okay. And you literally have choice. You jump on that train and you go down the negative spiral and you go into all the thoughts and the memories about being useless and hopeless and so on. Or you can let the train go past and you can observe it and go, that's interesting. Interesting that I think like that. I'm going to choose not to jump on that anxiety train. So don't get sucked into a thought process that you don't want to go down. Just take you down a black hole. Um, and how you respond to things, especially events where you feel out of control. And if you need to, take time before responding. So don't respond when you're to a client email or a text message in the height of emotion, because you're going to respond from a place of anger, fear, judgment, and so on. So that's when I'd be like using your tools, breath work, and mindfulness, tapping to calm down and ground before you respond. Um, so I sound all okay there, Ali, for this. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds okay for most of us. And Angie had problems with her sound.
Okay.
I'm hoping she's fixed it.
Sorry about that, Angie. Okay. So just resonating with everybody, feeling okay so far. Signs of not taking responsibility. Again, there's probably loads more signs. Lack of motivation. Think of some others maybe that we can share. Missed deadlines and blaming others for mistakes or failures. Using the "it's not my fault" or "that's unfair" statements. It would be really good to teach kids this, wouldn't it? To take responsibility. Just thinking like "it's not my fault" is like quite a childlike response, isn't it? Or "that's unfair." Um, good at starting things, but not so great at finishing them. That's where I fall into. That's my category. Depending on others for work advice and instructions. So, like in a working environment, say maybe corporate or something, where you really rely heavily on your boss to tell you what to do rather than maybe thinking for yourself or coming up with your own ideas. Yes, and not taking initiative. But I'm sure there's loads of different ways that not taking responsibility can show up. So we're going to be getting into the tapping now in a minute, but what might be holding us back from radical responsibility? So I want to talk about these things, and then we're going to really tune in to how all this is making us feel right now, because I want to kind of provoke and extract some emotion. I want to kind of bring some emotion to the surface so that we can work with it. I think one of the biggest things that stops us from taking responsibility is lack of safety. So not feeling safe to fail, not feeling safe to try. I'm going to write that down actually. Safe to fail. Who can relate with this kind of line of thinking? Fear of failure, but also fear of success. You know, what if I am successful? What happens then? Does my life change? Does my family change? Do I have to move location? What if I don't succeed? The fear of failure piece. Overwhelm, too much to do, just getting completely overloaded and can't see the wood for the trees. So feeling like all these ideas, but no idea where to start. Guilt and shame and blame, they are the biggest, like the heaviest, densest energies we can carry in our body. And I really try and operate on a zero guilt policy as well. So shame, is when we feel embarrassed for what we've done and we blame ourselves for things that we have done or said, events that we have experienced, and so on. And what is that doing for us? Is it helping us in any way? Because actually, If we're carrying guilt and shame for something from the past, that's blocking my ability to take responsibility now. It's blocking me from moving forward, blocking me from achieving goals, and so on. So really, tapping is an amazing way of helping to get rid of guilt and shame and blame. Anger about certain experiences, anger that we've gone through things. And I think anger is a really natural and positive emotion when it's used to fuel action. So anger at the moment about Israel's actions on Gaza, that is perfectly good that we are getting angry about that. Okay, it's injustice, and we need to feel that in our bodies, because that's going to make us take action. And we might sign petitions, donate money, go to rallies, and so on. But it's when we are holding anger for years and years and years, at ourselves or at others for particular things, again, it's like a toxic pill that we are swallowing, that we're expecting to influence or hurt somebody else. They've moved on with their lives, no matter what has happened. They may be carrying trauma, they might be holding blame or shame themselves, but that's not your responsibility. Your responsibility is you, and you've responsibility for healing, for letting go. Judgment of self and others, I think, yeah, I talked about that. Lack of awareness about the impact our choices have made. That's a big one. It's like sometimes we just don't know or don't realize that what we've said has hurt somebody else, or there's been a knock-on impact for that. Unhealed trauma is at like the root of so many illnesses, so many emotions, limiting beliefs. And again, those kind of things all adding up to holding us back from owning and taking responsibility of our growth journey, our healing journey, and achieving what we came here to do. Mental health and anxiety orders, again, they're all very similar and all linked, so linked. Ancestral trauma, often we're holding stuff that isn't even ours. So I have a whole other course on ancestral trauma, if that's of interest to you, that you can use to start letting go of that. Perfectionism, like our expectations of ourselves. Sometimes we're like, oh, I'll never get that right, so I'm not even going to try doing it. Okay, so we like hold ourselves back from even starting because we feel we'd never be perfect at it. Denial. So denial is an emotion of, refusing to accept what has happened to us. And again, acceptance is one of the main forms of healing. So acceptance is really, really important. The opposite of denial. Distraction. How distracted are we by life and the little things on our phones? It's really difficult to stay the pace sometimes. So how can we, come back to responsibility? And maybe, over the course of this year, it's starting over these next few weeks, just pay attention to where you're not taking responsibility, and then just going, I wonder if I could take responsibility for that. I wonder if I could own that a little bit more, and just start to claw back. Like, this isn't, we're not going to kind of suddenly grasp everything overnight now. Just start to claw back that control a little bit, pull back that responsibility. Belittled. Were you belittled as a child? Do you belittle yourself? I feel like that's an interesting area to explore. Sabotage, the ego, our limiting beliefs. I mean, they're just telling us things that we can't do all day long, right? Might feel inept, insignificant, isolated. Again, holding us back from moving forward to our goals. Abandonment of self. So often we actually stop being who we are. Stop, sorry, I've got builders in the house and they're making noise. So we abandon our sole purpose in order for survival. And that's fine. We needed to do that, but there is a point where we kind of have to own that, and we are at a sliding doors moment. We can take a different path. Laziness and lack of motivation. I fall into that category as well. Um, where we just get tired. And you know what? Maybe we need the rest. Maybe we do need that break. So it's not about berating yourself for being lazy. It's maybe allowing yourself space to rest, especially this time of the year. This isn't about, I'm not expecting everyone to go, from 0 to 100 on responsibility in this session. It's about planting the seeds of maybe looking at the whole year. Can I take more responsibility for certain areas of my life? Is there anything else there that people feel is holding them back personally from their responsibility? And does this bring up any emotions, any thoughts, any experiences that you've had? It'd be lovely to hear that. Maureen, I've made a change recently as I quit work. I'm suffering bad headaches. Well done. Our family life is now much better, even with low income. But I'm not comfortable telling people I no longer work, even if it's better for us. Okay, ego, judgment issues for sure. Okay, so there's a lack of owning your decision there, taking responsibility for your decision, even though it's benefiting you. So the perceived judgment of other people is holding yourself back. But also, what are you judging in yourself? So that's really interesting, Maureen. Brilliant to identify. Anything else before we get into the tapping?
Hi, Sarah.
Hi, Lulu.
Hello. I was just thinking about, I don't know how to put it into text, but something
Yeah,
around like taking responsibility for ourselves. For me, I find it really difficult because I think there's so much like we are responsible for so much else. So in terms of like looking after children,
that's
I've got
the
this
bottom
new
of the pile.
puppy.
Yeah,
It's the bottom of the pile thing, I think, and it just feels like I think yeah, you said something about going back into your child. It was like, and I was joking with my kids last night, like, why don't you guys tuck mummy in tonight and put me in my pajamas and brush my teeth and read me a story and put me to bed? It was completely ridiculous. But, there is that kind of, I think, that child thing when you're doing so much for others. Yeah.
yeah. And Lulu, perhaps like your child, you weren't filled up in that, and your cup was not
Yeah,
filled in that way.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Um,
exactly that.
so it's much harder to give from a empty cup,
Yeah.
really. So maybe taking responsibility for filling your cup.
Totally.
Think of it
Totally.
that way, because then you're filling the cup, allowing you to overflow to the family. And it's much easier to give to the family when you have a full cup, as you know.
Yeah. No, beautiful.
So
Yeah.
maybe it's a reframe, isn't it? It's because it's so important that we do that, that we fill up our cups.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant. Thank you for that. Anybody else? Mary, I'm very good at starting things, but I stop when things get hard. Yeah. Comes from perfectionism, fear of failure, fear of judgment of myself and others not being good enough. Yeah, that's the good. Not being good enough is like the root of all evil, basically. It's like the core belief that people have at the bones of it. If I could change one thing with my magic wand, it would be that in the whole world, to like wipe out that energy for everybody. Maybe someday I'll come back as a god or a goddess, and I'll yield my magic wand. But really good awareness, Mary. Not good enough. Yeah. Yeah, and I know it's really good to be in a place of wanting to take responsibility. I mean, that's where we need to. I suppose that's a good start, isn't it? Is the want is there, the desire is there to take responsibility. So that's really good. Um, yeah. So we've got the perfectionism. Anything else that is jumping out at people that we need to add into the mix here? So if not, we will start tapping. And actually, what I'm going to do is I had a little tapping slide, but I want to come back here because I'm going to use some of these to let's see how many people we've got. Okay, amazing. So who's new to tapping? Let's just get a one in the chat if you are new to tapping. I don't even know what it is. Or was everybody a pro? I know there's a few pros on. Okay, so everyone knows tapping. Amazing. For anybody watching this after who isn't really aware of tapping, please do check out some of my YouTube videos. You could just search tapping for mums and give you a little bit more background, or my Instagram, Sarah_Tobin. I won't spend too long going into this here, but ultimately tapping is a brain hack that tricks your mind into feeling safe. So again, bringing the safety into the body. So maybe when we are procrastinating, I actually have a tapping video for procrastination. Oh, Paula's new. Welcome, Paula. I have a tapping video for procrastination as well. Bringing safety into the body is really useful when we're feeling stuck. Okay. And the tapping points are really simple. I'm going to just do a quick demo. Side of the hand at the beginning as we tune into these energies. And then top of the head, you could use one hand, two hand, either hand. The beginning of the eyebrow, again, either hand is fine. Either side of the body is fine. There's no right or wrong, really. So side of the eye here. Under the eye, up on the eye socket. Under the nose. On the chin. Down to the K27 points. Oh yeah, Ali's getting a blanket. Make sure you're nice and cozy. So dropping down from the collarbones, there's a point called K27 that was from acupuncture and acupressure. Then we've got an under the arm, so under the side of the body, kind of where the bra strap is, if for women who wear bras. It's kind of where the strap is around the side, so not in the pit, under the pit. And then we come to the hand points. These are really handy if you are in and need to do some tapping in a discrete area. So like on a Zoom call, no one can see, under the table, cross the wrist there. And then we squeeze either side of the fingernail bed. So we're squeezing the fingernail bed. My Christmas nails need to come off. And then back to the top of the head. Okay, so first of all, let's think about tuning in. So closing your eyes for a minute, maybe a hand on the heart or a hand on the stomach. I just want you to ask yourself, on the scale of 0 to 100, now just see what comes up. How much responsibility do I take currently? Okay, how much responsibility do I take currently? 60% is coming to me. Let's just share that in the chat. Where are we at? $60 also from Maureen. We also want to think about, how does all this make us feel? Ali, different for different areas, but 70 is coming as a whole. Yeah, exactly. Some areas it could be 100 and then others could be about 5. 63, very precise, Catherine. Love it. And what emotion? So obviously you're here to take more responsibility. If we could tune into more of a negative emotion around this, like the not taking responsibility, what is coming up? Is it guilt or shame? Is it fear? What would be like the primary thing? So yeah, guilt and shame. Frustration and exhaustion. Yeah, frustration with yourself for holding yourself back. That's really good. Mary, 70 came up. Very good. Fear and procrastination. And can you find a location for that energy in your body as well? So while you're tuning into that Fear of change, yeah. While you're tuning into these emotions, find them in the body. Is it stomach? Is it chest? Is it on the shoulders? Let's see if we can locate shoulders. Dread in the stomach, yeah. Disappointment in chest. Yeah, the location's interesting. If you know anything about the chakras, sometimes the energy links to the chakras as well. Chest, different parts of the body also have different psychosomatic aspects, like the organs, like grief held in the lungs. Sometimes panic is in the lungs. Sometimes we feel anything to do with our sense of self is in our solar plexus, so our stomach. Chest, panic in the chest. And just, I want you to rate on a scale of 0 to 10, the discomfort with this energy and this emotion, like 10 being, it's really, really strong, this feeling of guilt and shame or frustration. So we've got 7, 8, 9. Wow, yeah. Big high emotions. Okay. Lots of 8s, lots of 9s. Perfect. So that's a really good benchmark now. Okay. We've got our percentage of kind of overall what we think we take in terms of responsibility, and we've got an emotion that is connected to us as we feel into this energy and feel into this idea of radical responsibility, and then we have a location of that in the body, and we have given it a number. We've rated it so that we can come back to that at the end of our tapping and see how it feels. It's really good to benchmark your tapping, especially when you're doing it at the very beginning, so you kind of realize how well you're doing. And for people who aren't familiar with shifting energy, you can laugh, yawn, cry, leak tears, like just literally stream. You could feel like you need to move your body. You could get hot, you could get cold. These are all really good signs of energy shifting. That's what we're doing in the body. We're sending, Ali's yawning already. Exactly. It's good. It's all release, all release. We're working with the meridians and we're sending energy. And so we're unblocking and creating flow in the body. So all that energy shifting and is really, really good. Okay. So I want you to, with tapping, you follow along with me. You just copy saying the words out loud if you can, because I think it has more impact. And what else? If you don't resonate 100% with what I'm saying, feel free, if you can, to change the words so that it feels more like it's something you would say. The more specific you are with your tapping, the better the release is going to be for you as an individual. But as in a one-to-one session, that would be easy to coordinate with a practitioner. But in a group setting, I have no idea what you're saying. Doesn't matter. Just say what works for you. And that's good for me. Okay. So we're going to start now. Let's just take a few deep breaths and just get into our energy. I might even sigh. And I'm just going to call all my energy back home. I've been at the school. I've been in the school classroom this morning. There was kids. There was the school run. Just bring all of your energy back into this current space. And let's just set a quick intention. I set an intention to release what is holding me back from taking radical responsibility for all areas of my life. Okay, so then the repeating starts now. So even though I'm carrying all this heavy, dense energy, because I've not been taking full responsibility for my life, my thoughts, my emotions and actions. But I choose to accept where I am right now. And I forgive everything that I'm holding against myself. And I love myself deeply. So even though I'm holding guilt and shame, fear, judgment, frustration and exhaustion, dread, disappointment and panic in my chest, stomach, shoulders, because I've not been taking responsibility. Because maybe I haven't been aware, or maybe it's felt too hard. But I choose to forgive, love, and accept myself anyway. And one last time with our setup. Even though I'm holding this heavy, dense energy in my body, the energy of guilt, shame, and blame, frustration and anger, overwhelm and judgment, disappointment and panic. I'm here showing up for myself right now. I'm doing what I can right now. And I choose to forgive, love, and accept myself anyway. Okay, great. So now we're getting into the rounds of points. So just follow along with me. All this guilt and shame, all this disappointment, all the fear in my body, these black, heavy emotions, weighing heavy on my chest, stomach, shoulders. I've been carrying these emotions for a long time. So collarbones. I've been judging myself for years. Under the arm. I've been holding myself back. I have a lot of things to let go of. I've experienced a lot of pain. So just squeezing the fingers now. And this pain, some of this pain is still held in my body. This pain manifests as negative thoughts, emotions, and actions. And I've just been holding on to all this pain. And maybe it's time now to address and let go of some of this pain. My body hasn't felt safe. It hasn't felt safe for me sometimes to let go. It hasn't felt safe to heal. It hasn't felt safe to change. It hasn't felt safe to grow. Maybe I have felt stuck in this lack of safety. Because so many things have happened in my life that I don't like. So many things out of my control. And yet I try so hard. I get great ideas and good energy and get started. And then I can procrastinate, get distracted, self-sabotage, tell myself I'm no good. No point going any further. I've been holding myself back for a long time. And maybe I didn't even realize it. This was an unconscious action. It's not my fault. I've just been carrying so much. And I try and help so many other people I take responsibility for so many people that sometimes I have no energy left to take responsibility of myself. My cup feels empty. And so I just carry on in this place of freeze, in this energy of procrastination, sometimes a little distracted, because it's just easier than really giving myself what I need. It's easier than doing the hard work. The healing work feels so hard. It feels hard with all this stuff that I have to let go of. But I know how much lighter I would feel. It would free me up if I could let go. If I could just accept and move on. Maybe I can start to accept my life. Maybe I can remember that I have choice. Maybe I can choose to let go. Maybe I don't have to judge and blame myself. Maybe I can find compassion for the younger me who went through all that hard stuff. Choosing now to bring compassion, energy into my body. Sending that to all the places that it needs to go. If you'd like, you can give that compassion energy a color and visualize a color moving around your body. It might be pink for love, or an orange or green. Bringing all this compassion to all versions of me, all the versions of me that are still in pain, that are still traumatized. It's safe to let go. It's safe to let go. It's safe to let go. Safe to let go of all the guilt and shame. Guilt and shame is not serving me in any way. Letting go of this heavy guilt and shame for things of the past. What's done is done and cannot be undone, said Lady Macbeth. I can't change the past, but I have the power to let go of the past. I can take responsibility of my letting go. And I let go of any frustration that is holding me back. I let go of the exhaustion from carrying all this weight. And I let go of all this fear. All this fear from every cell in the body. Fear of failure. Fear of success. Fear of trying. Fear of telling people what I've done. Fear of judgment from others. Who cares? I shouldn't care what anyone else thinks. This is my life, my purpose, my bloody trauma. It is my responsibility. So maybe I can let go of fear of judgment from others, because truly, do I really care? I don't want to care. Maybe I can choose to let go of caring what other people think. Choosing to let go. Choosing to let go of the fear of judgment. Letting go of the fear of change. Change can be really good. Change is necessary. Change can bring me new opportunities. Ego, I know you're afraid of change. You're afraid of overriding old beliefs. But I'm in control now. It's time to let go of those limiting beliefs. It is time for change. And I have the power to make change. I have the power to be responsible for my life. I get to choose. I have the choice. I get to decide. I have power over my subconscious or ego. I have strength. I have so much strength. I am resilient. I can do hard things. It doesn't have to be hard. What I want can be easy. What if what I really want is really easy? What if I've been holding myself back for fear that it's hard, when actually, when I'm doing what I really need and want, it's easy? Because easy is natural. Things that are natural are easy. I am natural and life is easy. What matters is the now moment. All I have is the present moment. Can I take responsibility right now for all areas of my life, for my health and well-being? Can I do what I need for me? I can do what I need for me. I need a full cup. I need to love myself more. I choose to take responsibility now. I choose to accept myself, to accept my life. I take radical acceptance. I take radical responsibility. I accept all parts of me. It is safe to try. It is also safe to fail. I let go now of anything else holding me back from stepping into my power. Nothing is more important than my power. My power to change, to take responsibility, and to love myself deeply and completely. I embrace change. I take radical responsibility for my life. Okay, so tuning in now. Hand on heart. Maybe take 3 deep breaths. And just connect into that energy that you were holding. Can you breathe a bit deeper? Can you feel into your chest, your stomach? Has the energy moved, shifted? Has it reduced? Has it got more intense in a certain area? Have a feel into the body. So now have a think about rating yourself on that scale, 0 to 10. 10 was around the intense energy that you were feeling. How is that feeling now when you think about taking more responsibility? If you want to drop that in the chat so we can have a look. A 4. Well done, Ali. 3. Easy. 5. Maureen. Well done. I know that was intense to start with. Anybody else? And then how does it feel to say, I take responsibility? So Mairead's gone from 8 to 5. Very good, Mairead. Sometimes those increments can make a big difference. Okay, you're not knocking those levels of jumps. Lulu to a 2. Amazing. When you think about taking radical responsibility now, how does it feel in your body? I feel excited about what I can do, about how far I can actually push things, how far I can go. Lulu feels like I have expansion. Catherine feels soft. Yeah, beautiful. Mary went from 10 to 7, found it difficult to focus and tune in, but definitely feel lighter, more optimistic. Mary, that's no worries. Maybe you could give it another go. Maybe when you're on your own and you can stop and start it again. The 10 to 7 is really good because actually 10 is really intense. So I would say that that's perfect for now. Drink lots of water. Lulu, the space is mine. I feel like I have control or choice. It's my life and ownership. Yes, exactly. No one else is going to do this for us. No one else is going to step in and change my food habits and my eating habits. Unfortunately, I've got to do that, and my movement habits and so on. Yes, ownership, clawing back ownership. Amazing. So, just to finish up, I hope everybody's feeling good. Might be worth having a little bit of a shake. Sometimes it's really good to shake off any excess adrenaline and cortisol that we have been clearing. You might want to ground, maybe have a nice cup of tea or cacao, a bath, water. Water is really important, especially if you're running the frequencies with Healy at the same time as well. I just wanted to let you know that myself and 4 others are hosting a healing journey using loads of different modalities like tapping, visualization, meditation, Akashic record healing, sound healing, guided journey work, on which is something called the Call Part 2, a return to love. So back in November, we did, I'm not sure if anybody was here that did that, but we did a 5-week ancestral trauma healing journey, which is an evergreen course now that you can do on my website. Mairead did part 1. Yeah, awesome. So for February, we are focusing on love and a return to inner union. Kind of, I mean, we discussed it a little bit here. It's like actually the separation piece is huge. It creates so much shame and abandonment and stuff. And that separation is actually a separation from self, a separation from source, separation from, you know, parent, God, love, mother, goddess, whatever you want to call it. And so we're doing a 5-week journey back to self, which is going to be so exciting. Oh, Mary, yes, excellent. She did part 1 and is looking forward to part 2. Awesome. I am going to be taking on one-to-one clients very shortly. I've had a little bit of a sabbatical from that, so I'm looking forward to getting back to work with people one-to-one. And I've got EFT practitioner training in Ireland and England, and you can check out my Tapping Into Your podcast. And if anybody wants to bring me to America or Australia for tapping training, I am open. Just bring me the people and I will be there. On YouTube, you can search Tapping for Mums and you'll find some other videos that you can follow along from. And my website is Tapping for Mums. But actually, it's not just for mums. That's just kind of my focus. So any questions? I hope that was really useful. Sorry, I've gone over a little bit. I felt it was really useful to go into the kind of what it is and how it manifests and why it's there before doing the tapping so that we can kind of bring those energies up to the surface for clearing. So that was my reason for kind of having the old presentation. Thanks for joining. So Catherine and I think I saw Alison there maybe. Catherine just trained with me in Dublin. Oh, and it's Elaine, yeah. a few weeks ago, just before Christmas. So brand new EFT practitioners who are loving it. And Catherine, I only yesterday saw your testimonial. Thank you so much. It's amazing. I'm going to be using that. Angie, glad it helped. Thank you everybody for coming, and we will share the replay so you can do this again. And anytime you feel you need a boost, and remind yourself of your power, your strength, and your ownership and responsibility. Thank you, everybody. Lovely to see you all. And thank you, Ali, for hosting.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sarah, and being part of this fresh year of freedom. It's been incredible tapping with you. I've tapped with you before, and it's always a really magical journey. So thank you so much. I've loved looking at just some of the ways that we actually hold ourselves back from taking radical responsibility that we might think of as something else. So it's been absolutely beautiful, and I've loved doing it as part of this journey to a fresh year of freedom, because obviously these pillars that we put in around metabolic health, the whole mindset thing is underpinning everything, whether it's food or movement, as you talked about, needing to get on top of, or whether it's where you're sleeping, the way you're like setting up your environment. That mindset underpins everything. So thank you so much. I think this is going to alter lots of people, the way they enter 2024. Absolutely
brilliant. Yeah, it's a journey. It's not a one-hit wonder. I wish it was. We've got to do more than that. Yeah, but it's this kicking off the idea of taking more responsibility will help us with those goals and those visions for the year. Yeah, for sure.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a lovely day, everybody.
Yes, thank you, everyone. See you at another event soon, hopefully. Bye. Thank you.